Okay, guys, welcome to Appendix A. There should be only one appendix because I was rushing because the battery on my phone was down to 2%. Now, what happens before we get back to our Bible study? If I reach all the way to zero, the study is not going to stay recorded. It's going to be deleted. So that's why I had to rush. But now, I mean, it's another day. It's another evening, I should say, night, and so I have ample enough time, so I should speak on the sameness of his coming, both in body and in appearance, meaning on the cloud. He left in a cloud, he's going to come back in a cloud. But it's not only talking about that, it's talking about his nature. The same Jesus that you saw go into heaven will come in like manner, okay, from heaven back to earth. We're gonna look at that, and hutos is very very important, and I think another word there as well. So I didn't really want to just stop there, but I want to go on. Okay, right. I think the thus, okay, which is hutos, there's an adverb, is very very important. So let me just reach actually where this theme is taking place from you. Okay, so let's just go to this area here. Okay, having been taken, okay, up. Let's just see where I can stop. Okay, I don't want to do everything. I just want to go at least go to here. This, okay. Now this is very very important. Like I said, let me just delete that or take that out of the way. This, okay, hutas. Okay, the same Jesus is identical adjective. This Jesus. Okay, so this is very very important to the it's very very important. In teaching the doctrine of the sameness of Jesus, meaning the body that he had while going up is the same body that he's going to have in coming down from heaven to earth, to the Mount of Olives, where he's going to stand on the Mount of Olives, which is looking over the temple, the temple area at the time of the Great Tribulation, and he's going to destroy the Antichrist, not annihilate him. He's going to destroy him. His capacity of functioning. Walter Martin actually brought that out, that it's no annihilation. Now, I just want to, since I was talking about dogs, okay, in the beginning of the study, so I guess he was good for something. Old Yella, right? Listen, there is annihilation when it comes to death, but only when it comes to pets, okay? All right, so the witness is, don't teach the continuance of the soul according to persons, but we know that dogs and pigs and cats and animals like that are not going to make it to heaven. They're not going to make it to the new earth. They're not going to survive. The soul is not going to survive. It's not meant to survive. It's not made. Okay, is he wasn't. A dog was not created in an image and likeness of God. You understand? So there's annihilation for dogs. Okay, so I mean, so if you get rid of, if you put this dog out of his misery, he's not barking tonight, yeah, not yet. But if you put him out of his misery, well, so what? Okay, that's the deal. Well, anyway, let me return to this. It says over here this. Now, this is a demonstrative pronoun. That's why it says P there. Okay, demonstrative pronoun. Now, you got hutos and ekanos as demonstrative pronouns in Greek. Okay, and that's just the deal. And so this Jesus, you don't say this is the Jesus. There's ha there. So you don't need that. As a matter of fact, you don't even need that article. Okay, it's nice because it's telling you that upcoming what Jesus is in the nominative, but that's a very you know that's not unique. What's unique about the paradigm for Jesus' name is Yesu, Yesu, and Yesu, triple Yesu. Or what's the triple Yesu have to do with sort of a uniqueness, sort of thing? Well, each of those constructions share three different cases. Okay, the dative case, the genitive case, and the vocative case. Okay, sometimes pronounced the vocative case, but yours truly also, I do that. All right, so this, okay, says over here the same Jesus. So that has to do with the nature of Christ, meaning nature 2 or nature B. The same Jesus, okay, the same Jesus, meaning, okay, you saw him. Listen, you're seeing him go up, with a body in the clouds. Okay. All right. And I have to see if it's in the singular or plural there. Plural there, clouds or cloud. But this is part one of the amazing teaching that's found here and recorded, I believe, in verse 11, because it doesn't, you have to tilt it like sideways to see the verse. That's the problem with this app. I believe it's verse 11. But anyway, you can see the tippy top a little bit of the one. I mean, it's just you can just barely see it. So this, okay, no pun intended, this ahutas is very important for the argument, okay, that we Trinitarians use against the witnesses that Jesus still has his secondary nature that was taken by him. Greek participle, present active participle, actually, labon, actually, is a participle, you understand? And so he took that nature. He didn't take the A nature or his essential nature or the B nature or the I should say A or one a nature. Okay, he didn't B and two. Okay, that's reserved for his secondary nature or his nature, the nature that he took. Okay, he subsisted in the first nature, so subsisting there, another participle, huparchon. So there's two participles there for the two natures of Christ. Okay, one each. Okay, huparchon, subsisting, and labon, taking. But this has to do with the nature of Christ, and this is our argument against the witnesses, that first of all, Jesus' spirit was not annihilated. Okay, it was, he was active, very much active, preaching in Sheol. Okay, in Sheol. And you see that recorded around verse 19 of chapter 3 of 1 Peter. Okay, you understand? He was preaching there. You will not leave my soul in Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to see shachat in Hebrew, corruption, fethara. I think that's fethara in Greek, in the Greek Septuagint, in Psalm 15 verse 10, because it's just a peg down, or whatever you want to call it. So the Psalm 16 verse 10 is in the Greek Septuagint is Psalm 15 verse 10. But the important thing is that his body saw no decay, no corruption. So it didn't, vaporize into gases, or is not held in the grand memorial like the witnesses teach. Okay, because as soon as God evaporates evaporates into gases, the body of the Greek word soma, or the body of Christ, where you have corruption. So this is a very key, element into the argument, that Jesus' birthday suit, was taken by him and remained with him throughout the years of his earthly life and throughout his eternal subsistence or existence. Okay? That birthday suit is the same body that he came with, and the same body that he's going to have, forevermore. and the scars actually prove the point, the crucifixion scars, because if it was another body, okay, there wouldn't be the crucifixion scars. Okay, the crucifixion scars is there, not for any kind of imperfection, said Norman Geisler, but it's a sign of his perfect love, okay, for the church. Okay, so that's just basically from Norman Geisler there, as he was talking to someone from the Christian Research Institute on the battle for the resurrection of Jesus, Greek word anastasis. Okay. All right. So this word hutas is very, very important. Okay. Now this Jesus, or this same Jesus, if you will. Okay. Um, okay. Let me see over here for a second over here. Okay, and let me just see what's over here. Pronoun is used as a pronoun. Okay. Now, this Jesus, okay, having been taken, okay, so that's going to be in the passive, okay? So, wait for a second over here. And that's an aorist passive, I believe. Let's see this over here close. I don't want to press the wrong thing. And then the recorder is going to stop. And this is a verb, and it's an aorist participle passive in the passive voice, passive middle, a passive, and then you see the casing there, nominative masculine singular, and it's a case ending there. Okay, the case ending. Okay, and that's just the deal. Now, the theta and epsilon is like the sigma and epsilon. It will be in the third person. Okay, the theta and epsilon. Okay, it's the same thing really as the basically the what do you call it, you see it's in the nominative, so you see the sigma there. You see the sigma there. Okay, and so that's just the deal. Now, it's ana, and that means up. Ana, that's a preposition. Okay, and then me fe thes. You just pronounce the letters. Okay, let's say ana me fe thes. Okay, ana me fe thes. Okay, having been taken up, and if it's in the passive, because he was taken up by the Father, okay, or by the Holy Spirit, okay. Now, having been taken up, let's see if there's anything else on that line. Having been taken up, okay, from, and Greek word apa, but is aspirated into off, because of the upsilon coming out, because of the upsilon with the rough breathing coming up in the Greek word homon, which is in the genitive case construction. No gender for the first and second personal pronouns. You see it in the third person personal pronouns, and then also in the demonstrative pronouns and the relative pronouns. But you don't see it in the first person and first and second person pronouns like ego and su. You understand? It says off here. That's an elision. Okay, that's a preposition, but that's an elision there. Okay, because it doesn't have the omicron there, and it's aspirated because instead of p is phi. Okay, so off humon from you. Okay, from you all, if you want to. From you into, okay, ace, okay, and it's taking the accusative, into Tan urana, no doubt, right? Yeah. Accusative singular. Okay, and the adverb is okay, thus or hutos. So you have hutas up there and hutos over here. Okay, in the same way or in like manner. Let's check out the semantic pool. I call it the semantic pool. Let's check out the semantic domain of this word. Okay, hutos. Now the definition is thus, so, in this manner. That's very, very important. Okay, let me close that. In like manner. Okay, taken, having been taken, okay, into heaven in like manner, and it has to continue there, will come. Okay, will come, meaning the second coming, will come, and that's elu setai. Okay, and that's from erchamai. Okay, elu setai uses a different stem. Okay, from the present, and this is a future tense stem here. Okay, elu. Okay, and the setai is something else. You got three different parts to that setai thing, but doesn't use the present form. Okay, here, erchamai, in this all my word, right? But it uses a completely different tense stem, elu, and elu, and that's the first part of this word. It contains the meaning of the word. You understand? Okay, come. But the will part of it all is in that sigma. Okay, is in that sigma, which means to synchronize. Okay, and then you have a connecting vowel, epsilon, between the sigma and the personal ending, tie. And the personal ending is according to, like I said before, the my side tie set of personal endings found in the bottom, okay, the bottom left-hand corner box of the four box chart that contains personal endings in each box. Let me just repeat them again. I wish I had the picture, for you guys. I did that several times, but I'll put the picture in your mind. You have a square. In the square, you have four boxes. Okay, so you got two to the left and two to the right. Now, the upper left-hand box contains, okay, in this personal ending, chart, contains primary active personal endings. Okay, you have nothing. Okay, some people say that the omega is a personal ending, but it's really not. But anyway, you have, and sometimes people want you to learn the both. Okay, o ace a and eta usi, but that's not really true. Okay, the personal endings for the primary active is nothing, sigma, iota, men, te, unsi. Okay, you understand? And then the primary passive side of the chart, which is the bottom left-hand box, okay, corner box, will contain the primary, okay, passive personal endings. Okay, my, psi, tie, meta, ste, and the ste is sigma, theta, epsilon, ste, untai. But sometimes you're going to see usi or usin instead of the untai. Okay, just like in the psi sort of side of the chart, you're not going to see the psi sometimes. I think that they did that because, and like I said before, I think I'm giving too much credit to the Greeks, but I think they did it like that because the psi is actually the same letters that's found for the aorist active infinitive morpheme. Okay, so I'm just giving them maybe a little bit credit, but I think that's why they did away with that. They did away with that sometimes, and then they just put the eta and the iota, or it just morphed like that because by force. The sigma drops out. The alpha was lengthened to an eta, and they had an iota there, and so that's subscribed underneath the ether. Nowadays called ether, but I mean, either way, okay. It's quite remarkable how things change. Okay, but you see that the eta in the middle of changes all the time, and omega forcing things to change, and then dentals drop out, and sigmas drop out, and vocalic sigmas drop out, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that change in Greek, that inflect and change or drop out, whatever the case may be. All right, so let's get back to this again here. It says, or will come. Okay, but this is in the future. So the future tense form of the sigma is there. That's the future tense morphing, if you will, right? And so that is pointing to the fact that this is in the future tense. Okay, like you have a handful of tenses in Greek. I mean, you have the aorist and the perfect tenses, and then you have the future tense. I put that in the middle, and then you have your imperfect tense, which is always continuous, and the present tense, which can be continuous. Okay, can be, not always, but can be, and that's why I lump them together like that. Okay, will come, meaning will come back to earth, right? Mountain of Olives, if you will. In that, okay, Han. In that, okay, that's Han. That's a relative pronoun. It's an accusative. Is relative pronoun in accusative masculine singular construction. Han. Okay. In that manner. In that manner. Okay, propan or prapan. Oh, I'm sorry, tratan, actually, tratan. Okay, T nowadays called tough or raw, omicron, P omicron nowadays called omicron, and nu nowadays called ni. Nowadays is a very lazy way of saying modern Greek. This is very lazy by me, but I mean I just like to say nowadays because it rolls on the tongue. You know what I'm saying? Okay, trapan. Okay, manner. Okay, you beheld. Okay, so you're gonna have the augment there. Okay, like the lexical form is actually theaamai. Now, this is the same Greek word found and recorded, I think, in verse 12 of chapter 4. It's sprinkled all over, but the verse 12, chapter 4 of First John. Okay, and the reduplication there, because I think that's in the perfect tense, it's actually with a tau epsilon, But here, the ed, if you will, if you could put that picture of something in English, being completed. He kicked the ball. So the ed is placed in the n in English. Well, the ed, okay, sometimes it's a set of eds in a Greek verb. It's not only like one ed. You got a couple of eds, which is very helpful. Okay, the sigma and alpha could be an ed, right? In an infinitive aorist or your construction, you have the kappa and alpha, or kappa and epsilon could be the ed, right? Okay, no augment though, Okay, but there's an augment here. Okay. And no augment of like in subjunctives, subjunctives and other constructions like that, and participles. You're not going to have an, augment there, I should say. Now, but there's an augment here. Okay. There's an augment here. There's an aorist indicative middle. Okay. A construction. So this is an aorist tense. So you're going to see the epsilon. You're going to see, because it has to do with time. So you're going to see the augment. Okay, the augment is a vowel that the Greeks place. It's like a prefix. They place that in front, okay, of the stem. Again, it's like an ed, but the Greeks put it in the beginning. Sometimes put it in the beginning of a Greek verb. If the Greek verb begins with a consonant, they'll put the epsilon. if the consonant heads up the Greek verb, right? Then they're gonna duplicate that consonant, okay, and put a connecting vowel epsilon in the middle of the reduplicated consonants, like in the word tetelestai. Okay, and the word tetelestai, it has been finished or it has been accomplished or whatever the case may be. Verse 30, chapter 19 of John's Gospel, you're gonna see the reduplicating tau. Okay, you're gonna see you're gonna have tau reduplicated into another tau, but they're gonna put a connecting vowel in the middle of those two t's or those two towels. Okay, or those two toughest. Okay, now you beheld. So this is a completed action. So simple completed action in Greek, aorist tense here. Okay, it's the same thing like edoken. Okay, but this is a me. That's a me verb. Okay, so you're not gonna see you're not gonna see. Okay, let me get rid of that right there. Okay, you're not gonna see. Let me see over here. Okay. Okay. You're not gonna see the sigma alpha that you see here. You see the sigma alpha over here. Okay, and that's the aorist tense morpheme. Okay, that's like an ed also, kind of glaring at you when you see the sigma alpha. Okay, outside of the infinitive system, right? You see that sigma alpha. You're trained to say, well, this is an aorist construction, sigma and alpha. In the third person singular, sigma and epsilon. Okay, so I mean that's just a glaring thing. So you got glaring things all over this, all around this verb here, telling you that this is an aorist tense. This is a completed action. Okay. All right. So you have the epsilon here, like an ed, and you have the sigma alpha here, like an ed, if you will, like that. You understand? So thea, okay, is the root here. Okay. And that's just the deal. Now this is first aorist, by the way. The sigma alpha is telling me that this is first aorist, not second aorist. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so FA, saste. Now, ste is a second personal passive ending. You see, meta ste untai. Remember that? This is one of the primary passive personal endings. So you have personal endings in Greek to let you know, to indicate, to tell you, to show you that you're either in first, second, or third person. Imperatives don't have first person, either singular or first person plural. Okay, those kind of constructions only come bundled in, okay, second and third person singular and second and third person plural. Okay. All right, now so that's just the deal. All right, so let's get going. Manner, okay. Trapan, you beheld, completed action. And let me see. I'm sorry. Efe a saste. Okay, saste. And what else it says over here? Him, and that's auton. That's an accusative third person personal pronoun from the autos paradigm. Okay, you know the paradigm. Okay, all right, from the masculine side of the chart, because you have masculine, feminine, and neuter in the autos paradigm. The masculine is a simple thing. Autos, autou, auto, auton. Autoi, auton, autois, autus. Okay, that's just that. Now, and then you have going, and that's paru amai. I'm sorry, paru menon, and that's a participle. You see since this is masculine, it's going to be mena with an alpha, but they don't have the alpha there. If it was feminine, it would be mene with an eta, but they're not gonna even write it anyway. Okay, you're not gonna see it. Okay, so you see the sort of connecting vowel there, omicron, between okay the participial morpheme and the case ending. So you see the mu, epsilon, and nu toward the end of the word. That is a participial. Well, that's one of a part of the participial morphemes, and I gave them to you. The you have you have nu tau, you have tau omicron, and then you have this one. Okay, mena, but they shaved off the alpha. And then you have that's the masculine side of the participial morpheme chart. Morpheme means form. It means form or shape, you know. And you have the feminine side of the participial morpheme chart or paradigm, and it goes something like this. I think it's like usa, huya, and mene with an eta though. So basically, menam and mene is basically the same form. Throw in there for free own, but that's really, that was really ontas there, and they shaved off the case ending, like I said in the study, and tau, the dental just dropped out. Okay, that's just it disappeared. Dentals tend to disappear sometimes. Also, like sigmas and other letters in Greek. You understand what I'm saying? Him autan going. Okay, paru amenan. Okay, paru amenan. Going, and that's a participle. It's an ing word. Our ing words are participles in English. And you got participles in Greek, but it's just not that simple to look at. Okay. So I mean, I guess it's simple if you really know them well, but it's not as simple as all. It's not a simple thing. Participles tend to be the hardest thing that people learn in Greek because you have a verb construction with a case ending after it. That's the tricky thing. You have a verb and a noun construction. Okay, so participles are verbal adjectives anyway, but I mean you have a verb and then in a case ending after it. So I mean you just have to know your case endings, and you have to know your verb constructions. All right, so into it says ace over here, heaven. Okay, uranan. Okay, let's get some English version up and running here. And let me get the NASB. That's one of my favorite app. It's one of my favorite Bibles. Doesn't make it the best one of all time, but still. All right, so that was in the Acts of the Apostles, right? So let's get that though. Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1, and I believe verse 11. So let's check that out and see if I'm right. Okay, it says, they also said, of, men of Galilee. Okay, why do you stand looking, into the sky? Okay, this Jesus who has been taken up, Anna, remember Anna, from Appa, right? You, into or ace heaven, Uranan, will come in just the same way. Wonderful translation for the NASB. In just the same way as you have watched him go into, and that's ace again, heaven. Okay? Now that's a title. I don't like the way that's constructed there in this app. I think that title should be smaller, a smaller font, a darker font, and in the middle of the screen. Okay, I don't think it should. It looks like part of the verse, doesn't it? Though it's just ridiculous. Okay, but then there's a capital letter also in upper, and then capital letter in room. So I mean, but still. So this is a very good translation here, and I didn't want to shortchange you in any way, um, because this has to do with two things. It has to do with the sameness of Jesus's body, okay, going up to heaven and coming back, and then it has to do with him being taken up in a cloud, okay, you understand, and returning back, okay, in clouds. Anyway, it says in clouds in the plural, in Revelation chapter 1 verse 7. You understand what I'm saying? So when he comes, okay, so when Jesus comes back on the Mount of Olives from heaven, every eye shall see him having the same body. You understand what I'm saying? That he had as a baby, okay, and as a man. It's the same body. And even after the resurrection, it's the same body. It just had different characteristics, but it doesn't make it a different body because he could do different, things that he didn't probably do before, like walk through a door or walk through a wall. If he indeed did that, it isn't, so he walked on water. So he could do miracles, and it has different characteristics. That body, cannot be destroyed anymore, meaning destroyed in a sense of killed. Okay, is an invisible body, invincible. It's indestructible. Okay, he has an indestructible life anyway, and it says that in verse 16 of chapter 7 of Hebrews. And Paul, if he was the writer, and I think he was because of the mentioning of Timothy, if he said actually that that he has an indestructible life. So if he has an indestructible life, okay, well that soul wasn't destroyed, and the body wasn't destroyed. Okay, into thy hands I commit my spirit. I entrust my spirit to you to take it where you wish. Okay, you have my spirit. I know you're going to place it in Sheol for 3 days and 3 nights, but I know you're not going to abandon me, and that's what the Hebrew says. Okay, you're not going to abandon me to Sheol. That's just what it says. Nor will you allow your Holy One to see a shachat in Hebrew, corruption. You understand what I'm saying? Well, this is Angelo Quinones going, giving the glory, I should say rather, to God the Father, through the Lord Jesus Christ and in the Holy Spirit. God is not the God of the dead, of the mut in Hebrew, but of the living. And that means that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were very much alive at the time that Jesus said those words, and they're alive right now, as a matter of fact. Like I said before, please subscribe to my channel. Please give me a thumbs up, and please leave a comment on the screen. Give me some ideas of what you want for me to do. And I hope that God gives me life to do every single argument, to talk about, talk on the topics of every single argument that comes, that gets into the pool of debates or discussions between us and so-called Jehovah's Witnesses or any other cult or sect or false religion that comes in the way, okay, of people being reached. We have to reach those people, okay, that the tower is not going to reach. I was going to say the cowards, the cowards in the tower, but the tower has them in bondage, and it's up to us to save them, plucking them out of the fire, hating the garments, okay, spotted by the flesh. Thanks, guys. Bye. Okay. So, let's just get rid of this thing over here. So you can see the verse for a little while. Okay. That's just the deal. Because actually I had something else there. Because sometimes when I pray or recite something or close the Bible study, I have my eyes closed. So I mean, you didn't see the scripture when just for a brief time, but you see it now. And let me just read it again before I close. They also said, okay, the two men, right? Men of Galilee, why do you okay, stand, okay, looking into the sky. This Jesus, this very same Jesus, this Jesus, okay, who has been taken up from you into heaven, okay, will come in just the same way as you have watched him go into heaven, okay, into heaven. So the same Jesus that went up to heaven is the same Jesus that's is gonna come down from heaven, and the same Jesus that you saw, go into the sky. Well, the same Jesus is gonna come back, okay, to earth from the sky. He's not gonna be in the inner rooms, the secret rooms. You understand what I'm saying? He's not gonna be in the desert, so don't go forth. Thank you, guys. Bye.